What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. I repeat, happy Wednesday. Coming to you at a different time today for multiple reasons. Been slammed. Feel like I've been around the world and back. And because our special guest had a flight to catch, and also he is on the West Coast. So we wanted to take his time into consideration. So thank you for joining us. If you're on the East Coast, a little evening session. If you're on the West Coast, a little lunch session. So welcome to another Vault Expert series, I guess. What's going on? Who we got here? G Diddy's in the building. Freddie's here. What's up? Charlotte, North Carolina, Syracuse. Stevie B is here on YouTube. Northern Virginia. What's up, Jimmy? Indianapolis is here. So make sure you guys do this. Hit this link on the screen right now, StreamYard.com/Facebook, so we can see your name. That's the only problem with StreamYard. You gotta give them permission to share your name. What's up, Eddie? Montenegro, Fresno, California. Nice. Okay. Well, we're going to hop right into it today because it is getting to be the end of a long day. And sometimes my brain starts to fall apart and decompose after about 5. So we're going to get into it, bringing on our special guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Drew Pearce in the building. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
That's him.
What's cracking? How's it going?
I love this guy. It's going, bro. It's going. So Drew Pearce, guys, for those of you who aren't familiar, Drew Pearce is one half of the Drew and Fuse show. Find it wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm a quick plug right out of the gate. Great podcast. They are both outstanding DJs and editors themselves, and they also bring on special guests and just have incredible stories and recollections of their years of doing this. Talk about music, talk about shows, talk about funny stories. So definitely check out the Drew and Fuse show. Quick plug right out of the gate. But Drew is one of those guys. I think he didn't use this in your marketing for a while, the DJ's DJ or something like that. Wasn't that one of your sayings or something like that?
Well, you're close, but my wedding company was the People's DJ. was the thing.
That's what it was. Yeah, the
Yeah.
people's DJ. Okay, okay.
Yeah, the people's
Well,
DJ. And,
I will.
and it
I
was
will
a
say this:
running
he
joke.
is the DJ's DJ.
There it is. We'll take it. No, it came from a buddy. I was way back in the days was like, you know what? I was playing high school parties and he was like, you're the people's DJ. And I needed a name and it just kind of stuck. So it is what it is.
Dude, it's a great title. I would accept it with open arms. And we've had I've seen Drew play at so many different things, and he's one of those guys that really can entertain a room full of DJs, which is kind of hard to do. I've had him play at our conference, the DJ Collective, a few times. He even just jumped on at the little retreat we had here in Raleigh a few months ago for about 20 people. So Drew's just one of my favorite DJs and editors, and just an all around good dude. He's on the hyper buzz coming off of a huge show last night in Las Vegas. Kind of tell us a little bit about where you're coming from.
Man, I can't even. The high right now is like unreal. I haven't slept, so we'll just get that out the gate. I've had about an hour on the plane of like dozing off, but got to DJ Access Las Vegas last night, and it was 2,000 people, 1,500 to 2,000 people. I didn't get the exact total, but it was a corporate party that I've done for probably 5 years over the last 10 years. And every year they don't have me, they say it ends early. So they were like insisted on me coming back, and I got to play at one of the greatest venues in the world. And man, being up on that stage and watching the CO2 hit and being able to play anything I wanted, like the owner came up and was like, I'm not going to tell you one thing, just do whatever you want. And it was literally the greatest feeling of all time. So I'm still on that high. I'm still riding it.
Were you literally, since it was corporate, were you literally playing open format, or was it more EDM because it's kind of that kind of club? Or how did you play it, just out of curiosity?
So no, of course. I think being a good corporate DJ, you need to understand a room, and the room demands some high energy because the people that are coming there understand what that room does, right? They're like, oh, Diplo plays here, Calvin Harris plays here. So if you're just like playing country and just cheesing it out, they're just going to be like, this is whack, right? But I was hitting them upside the head with like very hard songs, and then I would dumb it down and then go back. And luckily I had talked to the sound guy and the lighting guy beforehand, and he was just so in tune with what was going on. So if I dumbed it down, he just killed the lights and let it run, and then I would build it back up and like hit some drops and stuff. But you got to understand the room, and the room demands some of those big songs, even if the crowd isn't fully there. So it's a very fine line. You're walking that line the whole night.
Yeah, man. And that kind of leads us into what we're talking about today. If you guys got the email, or thank you for everybody that showed up, by the way. Thanks for spending your afternoon with us. But it's, we're kind of talking about gear prep. And I was, talking to Drew. I'm like, are we talking about music? No, I'm sorry. We're talking about gig prep, not gear prep. And I talked to Drew and I'm like, are we talking about gear? Are we talking about music? We talking about, and he was like, just whatever, man. So kind of, I'm going to kind of take it or give it to you, Drew, and obviously, kind of lead you down some questions I think that the audience and myself would want to hear about, but kind of talk to us a little bit about like prepping for a gig, not necessarily last night, but how you do it. Because, for those of you who aren't familiar with Drew, he's pretty much I guess a free agent is a good word, or a hired gun. Like he is able to dip and dive throughout the country, working for different people, as a assassin of dance floors. Wow, that's a good one. How about that one?
Damn, I'm stealing that one.
Assassin.
I'm stealing that one. I love that one. The new shirt coming out next week.
He gets on planes quite often, and is able to travel all over this great country doing all types of events. So, man, I'd love to hear how you go through your prep process, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. I this is what I think I always say is just always be prepared. This, as cheesy as this sounds, I was a Boy Scout. I was actually an Eagle Scout. Is kind of funny.
Me
And
too. Me too.
Hey, the Eagle Scout motto is be prepared, right? And
Be prepared. Yes, sir.
I got my Eagle Scout when I was 14. My dad
What?
Dude, my dad lived the life.
No, you weren't that young. Are you sure?
I swear to
You were
fucking
that
God,
young.
man. I got 90 merit badges and I
What?
was that young. Yeah. I got the Order of the Arrow. I did the whole bit, man. I was overachiever.
Dude, I was like 18. Like, I think I was at the very, they cut you off at a certain age. I was right at
They
the
cut
end
you
of
off
it.
at 18.
You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like out
I
the
think I was
gate. I had
18.
it. Yeah. Well,
Wow.
my dad,
Wow.
I owe it to my dad. But that being said, I did do all the work. And
Yeah.
I would say it's about being prepared, man. I can't say it more than anything. I understand the gigs that I can do, and I prep for those 5 or 6 style of gigs constantly. Like I'm just digging for those type of gigs at all points. So it comes down to the tagging. It comes down to what I do. Just always prepping for those kind of gigs. So I don't really have. It's just when I go to a record pool, I go through the record pool and I'm like, oh, this would be awesome for this corporate gig. This would be awesome for this big room. This would be awesome for this. And so you just always got to be looking. I mean, and then making sure you put it in the right place so that you could find it later. But not
That's
hoarding,
my problem.
at the same time. Yeah.
Right.
So
right. That's kind of been my problem. It's like I'll go through these download binges and not in the worst way. I mean, I'm very, choosy about what I'm downloading, but sometimes I'm just putting it in the wrong folder or not tagging it right. And then it becomes kind of lost in the abyss, because I might not play a gig for a week or two after I've gone through this download session. So it's tough, man. So kind of walk us through, let's while we're on the music topic, and we've talked about this on some other podcasts and things with crate hackers and whatnot. Talk about a little bit about you're a Serato guy. We know that, or I know that. And how yeah, we know that because Drew and I worked on music late night before at one of my conferences. And this was like my first time I ever really met the guy. And I think I brought up at the time, this was a long time ago, probably 5-6 years ago. I remember saying something like, yeah, I'm still using the function where Serato sucks over your iTunes playlist. And he looks at me, he was like, stop using that. iTunes is a steaming pile of dog shit. And I was like, wow. And I was like, and literally that I got home from wherever we were and I started making everything, like taking everything out of iTunes and basically trying to remove it from my computer because Drew Pierce was so against it. And everything he said made sense. After that, I could see how much faster like the songs would load. I could see so much more like clarity because I wasn't waiting on this iTunes integration. You know what I mean? But we all kind of got roped into that, when we got our first iPod and this, that, and the other. Anyway,
I did too. I loved iTunes. Okay. It was the greatest. Yeah. But it just became useless.
Yeah. For what we do as professional DJs.
1,000%.
Okay. So let's walk backwards into some of these. Let's because I feel like there's a bunch of wedding people on here. So myself, Randy, a lot of the guys that work here at Bun DJ Company are big proponents of the, multiple crates for multiple parts of the wedding day, right? So I'd have a crate for the prelude and the ceremony. I'd have one for cocktails if they were hyper specific, dinner if they were very specific about those artists, and then of course special moments, i.e. first dance, parent dances, and then open dancing as well. Where are you kind of in the wedding space in terms of getting prepared music wise?
Yeah, of course. So for me, I'm an over prepper. We're talking about being prepared and I over prep. I
Yeah.
like to start my prep in Spotify, and the reason that I start the prep in Spotify is because it's now synced with every device. Doesn't matter. So, shit hits the fan, boom, I can grab my iPad out, I can grab my backup laptop out, I can grab my phone out, anything, it doesn't matter. It's synced across 5 devices. So I like to start my prep there, and then anything that needs to be a hard play, I will make sure that it lands in Serato. But I have everything start prepped in Spotify so that it's like the ultra backup no matter what. And so
even though it's not like there's no like edits and stuff in Spotify, you're still just you're still going to just put the original, this is how we do it or whatever there,
right?
Just in case you
and I'm talking about the must plays, first dances, preludes, the whole bit. Sure. I have it all categorized out into all the different stuff, but with the way I talk to the couples is I'm like, give me a Spotify playlist. I love that. It's like I'm not going to play off the Spotify playlist, but like send it to me and then I'll go from there. And I like to have it in that, and I just look at it. And to be honest with you, I don't download every song in there, but I have it downloaded offline on Spotify, because what happened at a wedding recently, it was No Air. I can't even remember who sings that song.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Jordan Sparks.
It was somebody on American Idol. Yes.
I'm not going to say it's an awful song. I'm just going to say it's a song I would never play in life. And she had put it on the request list, and I was like, I'm not playing that. And they were on a volleyball team, and all the girls came up. They're like, you got to play No Air. And I was like, stop. Nobody wants to hear that song. They kept saying it. And finally I was like, apparently everyone wants to hear No Air. And I let it go on Spotify, but I always announce that it's a request. And it was easily the biggest song of the night. But at that point, I'm not mixing it anyways, because it's a shit song. So it can live on Spotify. It can just be its request. But I'm happy to not clutter my Serato, but have stuff live where it needs to live. Does that make sense?
Well, you emceed over the beginning of it as well. So it's like you didn't. There's no mixing into it anyway. Regardless, it's just you said, it's a shitty song. How many? How are you gonna do that? No. How many songs are you currently carrying on the hard drive then?
Let's look right now. I'll tell you. I want to say it's at most 7,000.
Yep. I was going to say, I bet it's under 10,000.
It is. Yeah, it's under 8,000.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the same.
And a lot of that is videos and or mixes or whatever. But I'm liquidating even those. But yeah, I listen. I am. If I don't know it, I'm not gonna keep it. If it's not a good remix, I don't want to keep it. If it's not gonna do, if it doesn't fit, like I try and have it's a rough 4 to 5 categories. If it doesn't fit those 5 categories, I'm just not gonna keep it. I'm gonna put it on an external. If it comes up, I have the external in the bag. I could throw it in, I could grab it real quick, or I could just download it offline. But it's not going to live in Serato. And so, I know what's in my Serato. And when someone comes up and they're like, "Do you got this?" It's like quick, easy, yes or no. And let's be honest, 90% of the time, it's a hard pass, anyways. So,
okay, sounds good. All right, so let's talk about. Did you want to share your screen? Because we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm happy to.
Show us a couple of little treats. A lot of this stuff I know, but I feel like our audience, we got a good 40, 50 people on. So I appreciate you guys being on. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people on Facebook. When I see it in the background, I'll pull it up and they'll be able to see as well. Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. So actually, this is my prep for last night. I'll just kind of go over real quick.
By the way, how long did you play? I meant to ask you that. How long did you play?
I did 4 hours. It was 10 to 12 or 10 to 2.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
whole night. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was going to be that kind of party. Okay. Got it. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You killed that. Let's talk about it. I've already seen some of the video clips, and it was, it
If
literally
you
looked
haven't
like
yet,
he
it's
was
on my
like,
Instagram. It's on my
oh,
Instagram if
okay.
you're
Okay.
looking. Yeah. On my stories. But it was I was marshmallow
Epic.
last night. I ain't gonna say I'm just Calvin Harris. I'm on a high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically what I did is I took so I've already done this party. Granted, so I do all of the corporate events for one of the mega
Mhm.
clubs in Anaheim, California. It's Heat Ultra Lounge. And so they get it's
Okay.
where NAM is held, and it's where
Yeah.
some of the biggest corporate events come through. And
Yeah.
most corporate companies bounce back and forth between different cities. So
Okay.
I was in, so like they'll have Anaheim last year, and then they have Vegas this year. They might go
Okay.
to
Okay.
Dallas next year, and then back to Vegas. Like it's all over the place, right? So what I've
Sure.
been very lucky is I'm at one of the best clubs next door to a convention center, and
Yeah. Right.
I've done all of their corporate events for 15 years. And so I did
Jeez.
Major
Yeah.
League Baseball party when they had the Angels party. They took me around for a couple years because they were
Yeah.
just, if you do a good job, they're like, you're
Yeah.
the
You're the
best DJ
guy.
we've
You're the
had.
guy. Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they just
Right.
it came down to a point. Even last night, they said, listen, anytime we go somewhere else, you're the only one that keeps them to the end of the night. Everyone else, they leave
Mhm.
2 hours into
Yeah.
the event. And so
Sure.
they'll take you along with you. So
Mhm.
here's the last 2 years. I mean, I kind of went through all this stuff, and these are like dead files that I end up
Yeah.
research
Taken out.
servicing. But I just went through my last couple years, and then I kind of found I went into like, like what am I going to play for house stuff, and what I'm going to play for Latin, what I'm going to play for
Mhm.
rock, and then out of those 2 years I kind of found out like, okay, I'm going to live out of this crate, and this is going to be backup, meaning like these are not bad songs, but I'm probably going to open with them, and if I get desperate I could grab in here, right?
Come back to it.
Tricks.
Yeah.
This was just something I didn't even, I just put this, I just start making up names. Like, I don't even know what this is. Like,
Right.
this was kind of like a
Right.
new thing. And then rock. And then, but for the most part, I live in these crates. And if I get desperate, like last night, I got desperate. And I organized this crate. And I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't play that, dude. Oh, at the end of the night,
Yeah.
I did Save the World. Oh, I'm going to do that, And then it like
Yeah.
reinvigorates me to be like, oh, I got this whole set done. Right. But when
Yeah.
you're in the
Yeah.
heat of the moment, you're not thinking of those. And so, but I also live on smart crates, and we've talked about that. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, this was how I prepped for the night. I went in deep, and I was like, okay, these are
Yeah.
what's worked the last 2 events that I've done. I know
Sure.
these are big sing-alongs from like the clubs that I've done or the weddings that I've done. I'm going to start. This is what I'm going to use as like my foundation, and then if I can start digging after that. That makes sense?
Love it. Yeah.
I can
Totally,
also
man.
show
I
you
get it.
a wedding if you want. That was last night, but you want to see a wedding?
Yeah. Sure. Absolutely.
So I also, this is what I was talking about with my crates is,
Yeah.
so I basically have like a thing. It's like pre-made crates, and so like these are the moments. Like I've made all these. Couples get
Mhm.
stuck on all this stuff, right? First dance ideas,
Sure.
father daughter. So I've
Sure.
made these like little like moments, and it has like, 60, some have 100 plus, and
Mhm.
then I just
Mhm.
send them that crate, and then they're able to look
Mhm.
at it. And then I save every wedding that I've ever done. So I put the date
Right.
on it, and I do all
Wow.
this. So I could just be like, Jenny and Glenn referred me to a wedding coming up, right? So I could be over here and be like, oh, I played this for dinner. Oh, tight. Like I played, these were their
Oh.
requests. This was their dance shit, right? This was
But
their
you would
dance
save them
request.
in Spotify more instead of crowding up the Serato. So you don't have the old crates and Serato still. You're cleaning those out. You keep it here.
Well, okay. Let's look at this, right? for let's say their main stuff. I don't want some of these songs in my Spotify. You know what I mean? It's
You
just
mean
that's just
in
what
your
it is.
Serato?
Serato,
You mean
it's
in your
Serato. Yeah.
Right.
I don't want these to live in Serato. This song I don't want to ever see in Serato. I don't want to
Yeah.
see any of these in Serato.
Right.
So I will get them for that show, and then here we
Yeah.
go. Like then they can be back in here. And I don't need to keep that MP3. Well, I keep that MP3 on an external to where if I ever need
Right.
it to play, right,
Right.
then I could grab it and I could have it in a thing. But you know, some of this
So would
stuff
you have
is
played a dinner set like this, like a real mellow dinner set like this, off of the aux out on the laptop and just played off Serato
I
for dinner?
I go back and forth. I
Okay.
like to just have it because
Yeah.
you know, with weddings, you start off on mix, and then you know you'll get called away to do this, and this. And so I like to
Yeah.
just be
Right.
like, I could hit play and then let it ride, and then I could come back and
Yep.
I could mix. And
Yep.
again, this is just a suggestion. It's not, I'm not going to play all 40 songs. This isn't life.
Yeah.
This is just what they wanted. This is what, you know, if I really need to, you know, I have all these dinner playlists too of my own that I've created. And so
Sure.
it might have just been something that I was like in their call. I was like, hey, oh, you love oldies. Okay, tight. So then I'll just grab like the first like 5 and I'll throw it in a playlist, you know. So right. We're like, hey, I love
Yeah.
older shit. I love country. I love this. And so I'll just throw a bunch of stuff in there. And it's like, if I need to walk away, boom, I got a pre-made playlist that I didn't need to sit there and start drawing from. Well, someone's trying to pull me away to do something important. You understand?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I do. Makes
Yeah.
total sense.
So I try and DJ as much as I can, but I also like to just be prepared to have some of the most go-to stuff.
Okay. So yeah, this Spotify thing kind of blows me away though, because I don't want to say it feels double work, but it kind of is double work, right? But it's just part of your process, so you don't really care.
I mean,
I guess my question,
it's a backup for
right.
it's a backup for the laptop, right? And the reason that I like it is because most of the stuff that's on, so the double work is not double work if you really look at it. So like a prelude, I'm usually going to play off it. I'm playing off this on an iPad, right?
Same.
So I'm doing that work. Ceremony, I'm doing off an iPad. Cocktail, I'm doing off an iPad.
Yeah.
Dinner is what we're calling the free for all. Main, I want to have options anyways.
Files.
And then and then the dancing is just roll of the dice if they send it to me or not. So I wouldn't call it double the work because this is more of a backup for multiple devices. And I don't have to actually, like, to think about it, it's less work because I could do all the work on my laptop and I don't got to actually transfer anything to the iPad.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, this is, I mean, I definitely see this as the advantage for multiple parts of the event, especially in the wedding sphere.
And yeah, if you look at all this, it's like the main stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's I would not. I don't have last night at all for this Spotify.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I might do research if I'm prepping for a gig, and here, look at you got like these kind of things are kind of what I'm doing. The pool party. I'm working on a new project. I'm curating music for this new country club, and you know, I basically threw a couple songs that I kind of like, and then I hit enhance, and then I hit radio station, and then I go down here and I start throwing in songs. I start getting vibes of how to get a little bit more extensive. So I do what back in my days we call the record digging,
right?
we call you know, going out to the record shop is like I'm Spotify digging. So that's what I do nowadays. I basically go on Spotify and I dig, you know. That's how I do all my music.
Sorry, man. Somebody came in the middle of the broadcast there. Sorry
All
about that,
good.
Drew. What was the last thing you said, man?
Oh, I was saying, yeah, I use
Wait.
Spotify as record digging. Basically, it's just how I go through and dig music. So, I have let's see, it's like current stuff that I'm kind of like digging through where I'll be like,
Drew, you
I
there?
wanted to do, yeah, you don't hear me? You hear me? No? You might have muted you, not me.
Hello.
Hey.
I lost him.
Oh, come on. We're right there. Let's see here. Joe.
Yo.
Yeah. Hey. Hello. Let's see. What happened?
I don't know, dude. Some guy walked in. I took off my headphones and it disconnected. Sorry.
It's all good. You hear me?
He was literally, yeah, I hear you now, but he was like looking
you
for
hear
a
me?
job,
Okay,
and I
cool.
was like, what? Yeah, I hear you now. Sorry.
All right, cool.
I was like, that was the wildest thing. I don't think I've ever had anybody walk in here looking for a job.
So when I'm crate digging, like I'm doing this venue where they wanted a lot of house music. So I went on, there's a big party here in LA. It's called Splash House. I basically went on Splash House and I found the playlist in Spotify, and I just went on that playlist, and then I'll dig through their stuff, and then I'll start getting even deeper dives with stuff I like. So I create dig through Spotify. That's how I'm kind of finding this stuff.
Because the algorithm is so dialed in, right?
Well, I mean, you could say that, but like, let's be honest. Who's using anything else? No one's listening to radio. No one's on Apple Music because it's shit. Everyone's on Spotify, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone's on Spotify. So the kids are on
Spotify.
Adults are on Spotify. If they're finding music, it's on Spotify. So let's not kick ourselves in the shins trying to work harder than we need to. It's all right in front of you. It's on Spotify. There's nothing more to it, really. I mean, that's like the old school going to the radio and seeing their playlist. Like, everyone's like, "Hey, did you hear this song?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, it just came out today on Spotify." It's like, okay, so you got to pay attention to Spotify.
Sorry, I didn't wake up and
it's
crazy
what it is.
The amount of music that's coming out. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay,
I mean,
so
I will say this is what I try and do. Oh, sorry, I was trying to click on the wrong thing, but I will hit search, and then I'll go through, like, I'll hit hip hop, and then I go to the Feeling Myself when I'm gonna do a nightclub, and then I'll be like, oh, bongos is height. I'll just hit like the top couple songs, and then I'll go through all these curated Spotify playlists are gold. I'll just go on there because this is what everyone's listening to. I'll just go
it's trending,
and
right.
I'll hit all these, and I'll be like, I mean, that's radio. That's life right now. So it is what it is.
Yep. You're right, dude. It's a great source to be able to pull the tracks, especially if you got to be current, which I don't have to be a lot of times in the wedding space, but you at least need to know, what's going to pop off or what's so big that it's crossed over into like mainstream, not even all, truly like FM radio.
But like I told you, but I'm using this for yacht rock. I'm not using it for only new stuff. Like, you could get deep dives. One of my favorite things in one of the I was doing this bar at one point, and they just said, we want sing-alongs. We don't want all like just ratchet shit. And so I went on here and I was like, sing-alongs, and boom, that was my whole set. Was just from Spotify. Just sing-alongs from that. So I mean, don't overthink it. This is it right here. Just got to mix it right. If you mix it right, I mean, it's not doing it for you. You still got to do it. But if you take the ideas and then reinvent them, or take some of the edits and the remixes that are available, then boom, you can have an awesome set.
Talk to me a little bit about, how you're collecting like the timeline. I assume most of the events you work with have a real wedding planner. But are you collecting
I'll
any data from the couple,
yeah.
like on a spreadsheet or in a CRM or anything? Kind of since we're just all encompassing talking about gear. I mean, I'm sorry, I keep saying gear prep, gig prep. I kind of want to know, like this.
Yeah, here we go. Here's my my list right here. I have a I like Joe said, I'm a free agent. I basically work for multiple companies. So that being said,
Yeah,
everyone has their own way of doing things. Some use Vibo, some use
yeah,
DJ Event Planner, and
yeah,
I'll be honest, like I can't memorize them all. So I
yeah.
use as as weird as it sounds, like I know Apple Notes is like I don't like. I like Apple Notes for what it does. I don't like it for
Yeah,
this. I love OneNote,
yeah.
and
Oh,
um,
interesting.
let me explain why. Let me try and find one that. Okay, here's why. So with OneNote, free, It's a Microsoft thing. It's free. It's basically like a better version of Word. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason I like it is because as silly as it sounds, I can adjust the columns with whereas in the
Right,
notes app I can't adjust the columns and it drives me nuts, drives me bonkers.
right,
But
right.
I could set links inside of here. I could
Yep.
insert pages. So like what will happen is the way I get a wedding is they'll fill it out on Event Planner or Vibo, and then I'll
Sure.
take all my notes before the call. I'll do a call like a month out, and
Yep.
basically I retype everything start to finish. I'll never look at that
Yep.
site ever again, but I look at it as we talk, and then I'll take the coordinators timeline and I just drop it in here.
Yep.
So I have the coordinators timeline to
Yep.
sometimes I like my notes better, but sometimes it
Me
just
too.
is what
Me
it
too.
is. And you got to look at the coordinators because they changed something and you didn't notice or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but I'll still go on here and I'll get all my stuff. So I just run through. So I basically have made a template and
Yeah.
then here's all the stuff. And then I'll
Yep.
get on a
Yep.
call and I walk through start to finish and I have all
Yep.
my my
Yep.
questions to make sure I hit. And then
Sure.
I can set all my links in here. So like when I go to prep in the week, I make sure I get all of their stuff. And then I have
That's beautiful.
I'll literally post or like drop everything in here. So when I'm out and about, this is the beauty of it. This is now on my phone, it's now on my iPad, it's now on everything. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
very about the cloud-based stuff so that I can have
So
it
same.
Yeah,
So is that stuff down there in the white, the wedding planner's planner?
that is, yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I do something very similar. I use Pages, but I have a template or a spreadsheet basically in Pages,
Yeah.
and that's what I do. Exactly the same thing he does.
Yeah.
I'm referencing several different things on that final meeting call, and then kind of compiling it all into one document. And then, like I have right now, is just have my iPad over here to the side, which basically has that page right there that he has open, and I can look at that all night. So makes things much easier.
What I also like to do is my iPad is also a hotspot, right? So I have cellular on it. So it's already sitting on my desk. Boom, it's a hotspot, right? I pay for it. I can grab songs and stuff from it too. So that iPad's invaluable.
Absolutely. That's why it's almost, I don't even know that they make them now without service, because the old ones, you could say you wanted cell service or you didn't want cell service.
Right.
I think they all have service now, as long as you pay your bill.
If not, they should
be. Yeah. All right. Let's gear's different for you, I guess, because you do play around a lot. I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with coordinating with boots on the ground type people. Say if you're going to Dallas, you might call Nate or somebody. If you're going to North Carolina, you'd call me. You want to talk a little bit about just what you always travel with, and then kind of how you source out the gear otherwise?
Yeah. It's funny that you bring this up. This is I always talk about using standards. To shit on all the rain guys. Sorry, rain guys. But Pioneer's a standard. It's just facts. And I was I was at Access last night. I sent in my rider. They said, send your rider. No problem. Got you. I get there that day and they're like, yeah, so this is what we got. And I was like, yeah, that's not anything that was on my rider. And good thing I know how to play on all that. And I expected it to not be that way. So I had already had all the right cables and I knew all the stuff and I know how to play on that. Know how to play on everything. I mean, I can play on rain gear. I'm not shitting on it. I'm shitting on the fact that it's not anywhere. I mean, just facts. Like everywhere has Pioneer. End of story. Know how to, like, if you want to just know how to get by or expect to be able to play on anything, an SRT is basically you'll live, you know, if you get an SRT or you get one of the Rev 7s or whatever, but like, yeah, you can play on anything after that. And so
that's right.
That's just where I'm at, is all Pioneer. You know, I know how to play on anything that's Pioneer. Yeah.
Me too. Same. Agreed. Okay. Any questions in the chat? We got a nice little group on here. Again, thank you guys for joining us at a different time today. Sorry about the last minute change. But we had to let my man here get back to his house. So from Vegas. So anyway, any quick questions about prep in particular? Throw them in the chat. I think there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll wait a few minutes. But man, this has been super informative. I always love to see other DJs kind of behind the scenes. People are asking if you're Bert Kreischer. Nope, he's not Bert Kreischer.
That's CVB. My dude, Stevie.
Yeah, it is him.
Yeah, I know Stevie. What up, Stevie?
Is Drew coming to the collective? That's a yes. Right? In Atlanta.
Facts.
100%. Yes, yeah. Mark Tony. Yeah. One of my DJs was asking. Yeah.
Never missed. Will be there, I've been to every single one.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. What's up, Todd? How are you, man? Yep, Stevie B. That was definitely him. But yeah, man, this was good stuff, Drew. I always love to see kind of behind the curtain and see how other DJs prepare. I feel like if nothing else, it's just validation that I'm doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like I just like a lot of times when I'm doing that sheet, right? When I'm retyping all that stuff on that document, I'm like, God, this is so stupid. And I'm getting, you know, I'll kind of get frustrated at myself. And I don't play nearly as much as you do, you know, but I'm like, why am I retyping this shit? And then I kind of think back to when I was in school, and I was ironically a really good student, even in college and high school. But I feel like I was, you know how you had those friends that were just, they never had to study. They never had to look at a book and they just would like ace every exam. That was not me. Like, but what was helpful was when I retyped, like, even if I would handwrite my notes, you know, this was how long ago I was in college. Sometimes I would go back and write them again, like on postcards or flashcards or whatever. So I'd remember them. It was almost like I could remember it the second time I wrote it down. It's the same way with these planners now, like to the point where once I've copied and pasted it to this new sheet, by the time I get to the actual event, I'm like, oh, I remember this now.
Exactly.
Maybe you're the same. Same brain.
I'm 100% the same. No, I do it I actually do it. Well, one, exactly how you do it, but I do it to make sure I don't miss anything. You know, it's like, if I know that I went through my steps, then it wasn't not on the coordinator sheet, or I didn't like to not rethink this. It was like, oh no, I did everything that needed to be done. You know?
Where is the whatever cake cutting? And then you kind of find out, oh, they're just doing it privately. They're not announcing it anymore, which is kind of a new trend or whatever. Somebody was asking if you could show some of your main dance folders. I guess that's not really how you organize, right? Main dance folders.
I mean, I'll show if you don't mind. I'll show what I got.
Yeah, no. Show or just show one more time, like the master folders and how you kind of break that down. I think people are always interested in seeing other people's,
of course,
libraries. Hold on. Okay, I got it up.
All right, so
down the left side, right? Exactly.
Yeah, again, so this is the playlist from last night. So like I kind of dug this out. I have it to where all of my crates look the same. It's
Yeah.
reformatting the size of and I'm blind. Yes, I I squint constantly, so it's like braille.
Yeah.
It's just like, but yeah, it's like it has the songs, and then I have the BPM key, and then the amount of plays, right? And then off to the other
Mhm.
side, I have all this other information that I like, but it doesn't. It's
Yeah.
not like this is one of the venues that I play at. The way I have it is I have the overall playlist, and then I have past weeks, and
Mhm.
you know, I
Mhm.
and then so basically, if I know I got 2 months worth of work here, I can pretty much live out of this crate. It'll be all right,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And
Right.
then I have Heat is kind of like a hip hop. It's a venue I play at, Heat. I got like a
Mhm.
house, and it's all broken down to smart crates. Luxury
Mm.
being like I kind of call that like indie chill
Yeah.
corporate
Yeah.
style
Yeah.
stuff. And then I
Yeah. Me
got
too. I
like
call
hard.
mine cool cocktails. Is what I call mine. Cool
Yeah,
cocktails.
exactly. So I got bass tech 2054 is like disco house remixes.
Mhm.
Gum. I came up with these names that are really quick to type specifically
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
wanted to, when I'm on the fly, like say the laptop's off to the side, I want to be able to go like just type real
Yeah.
quick
Yep.
and
Right.
not be like
Right.
doing commas and apostrophes and like 10 other fucking
Right.
things.
Right.
But Gum is
Right.
basically remixes, right? It's pop remixes,
Oh.
Gum,
Okay.
bubblegum
Okay.
pop,
Okay.
bubblegum
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like this Nicki Minaj super bass, the Drew and Fuse show bootleg. I don't want that to show up in my pop crate
Yeah.
because
I
to
got you.
me, unless I labeled it that way, I don't want it to. It to me, it's not a pop song. There's like a
Mhm.
remix. Like I'm not gonna play it at a wedding. I know
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
weird, but like I'm very specific about the way I tag stuff. So if I thought this could cross over, which I kind of do say that it does a little bit, We Dance is like my wedding crate. So
Wedding. Right.
I'm really specific with my tagging. So I use
Yep.
smart crates very heavily.
Yep.
So I don't know if that answers your question. If you have any other ones, I'm happy to.
Yeah. No, just
Uh,
keep going. Just keep going down and just see the master folders. Keep going down.
Chico, it's just kind of funny. It's my Latin shit, my Latin bootleg, and
Yeah.
then this is like my hip hop bootleg. Sunburns, pool parties. Lava's like rock. It's stupid.
Right.
Again, it's like something that I could type real quick. It doesn't
And
make
you
sense.
remember it, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Right. Keep
Wedding.
going down.
This is how I break down my weddings. It's all We Dance. So anything titled in the thing is like 90s pop, electro, We Dance, South. You know, I got all that stuff. It's all titled that. So
Mhm.
usually like the kind of the way I do combos, I'm very if I'm really like writing something, I'm very decade based. And so I've gotten
Mm.
really into I used to do 10s and 2000s and 90s, but I've actually started breaking it down to 05s and 15s and
Mhm.
20s and 25s
Mhm.
because if let's just say me and Joe are, we're older cats, right? So I graduated 96, Joe graduated in 92. But let's just say that, right? So
Yeah. Sure. Right.
my shit that hits, like Joe is gonna go crazy for 88 to 92 stuff, and he's not gonna
Mhm.
be hyped on 97 stuff, right?
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
just go 90s and then any late 90s shit is not gonna hit at all. They're gonna be like, this shit's whack as fuck, right?
Right.
But
Right.
if I go into 5-year decades, if I break it down to fives, then I could dip and I could be like, boom, I could just be like rattling stuff off, and it's a game changer, you know. So I've been
Yep.
really getting deep dived into that. So that's my wedding stuff. I have it broken down. So anything that I tag as the year and We Dance automatically goes into one of these crates.
Right.
So it has that, and then I have all my pop crates, and I kind of have this weird system that I'm using right now. Basically, so here's the smart crates, right? So I'm gonna show you real quick. So the smart crate, it's this folder system. Basically, oops, I think I did that right. Okay, so all of the pop smart crates are in this pop folder, right? Well, they should be.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
here, I'm sorry, I kind of messed that up. I'll fix that. Okay, so they're all in the smart crate. This thing I can collapse and whatnot. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's all my smart
Expand, right.
stuff. So in the pop, so say I'm doing a party, right? And I'm DJing. This is exactly what happened last night. I was like, oh, it's an older crowd. They love 90s. And so I have this folder that has nothing in it, right? Oh, it shouldn't even have that. But I have I'll be like, oh, they love 90s pop. They're into the 2000s era, right? And then now I can just click this folder and then just play off of that. And that's all my songs.
Play out of that. Right. Yeah.
And so then it cuts out all the other stuff. So I'm just moving around stuff a lot.
You are moving like literally on the fly. Like that's great.
Oh yeah. And then I'll make smart crates on the fly. And like definitely.
Dude, I love it.
So
I love it.
So
I love it.
I'm all over the place. And I keep literally everything. Here's sets from years. Look at I mean I have sets from like you don't even know.
Oh wow.
I'll go.
You do keep
I keep everything. I just throw it in a little extra folder. And I'm a big proponent of like I'll take last night's set, the history, and you know, and then I'll just throw it into a crate and then I label it.
Right.
And, yep. And then when that party comes up, I can
exactly. So they call Drew and go, hey, we want you to do our holiday party in December. He can reference back the Vegas thing and be like, all right, what's going to work in this? Now it's at the Hilton Ballroom instead of XS Nightclub. You know, I gotta tweak this a little bit. It doesn't have the same energy and vibe, but a lot of the same people here. Yeah, that's super helpful. I love that history idea for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I got to jump on another thing at 5:30. I don't want to keep you all night, even though we could talk about this stuff forever. Thank you guys, everybody that showed up today, and thank you, Drew Pierce. You're my guy. I love you, bro. I can't wait to see you again. I appreciate everybody for being here. Yes, sir, we are. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, y'all.
Peace.
That went great, dude. Yeah, I forgot I got a call with the student New Zealand in a little while about some Crate Hacker stuff.
No worries, man. Happy to help, dude.
All right,
hopefully it was successful.
Yeah. It was super successful.
Was there people on it?
Yeah,
I could have seen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's so we were streaming into a bunch of different groups. It was like 40 or 50 people in there. So
nice. Hell yeah.